Let's talk about your play. You co-wrote and directed the play, The New Colossus, and it's about the immigrant experience, and you borrowed the title, The New Colossus, from the Emma Lazarus poem etched on the Statue of Liberty. So what we want to know is it a direct response to what we're living through? Is it a direct response to the divisive immigration rhetoric that we've been talking about?
Yes, it is, but we started it before the Trump administration.
Really?
When the Syrian crisis was happening, we were seeing those mothers and children that were fleeing war zones being portrayed as potential terrorists, and it didn't make sense to us. So we started talking at the Actors Gang about who we are, what our story is. And I asked 12 actors to research their own stories of immigration, or their parents or grandparents or their ancestors' stories of immigration. So it's 12 actors talking in 12 different languages, telling the story of their family's immigration from 12 different periods of time, from 1868 to 2017. And it talks about what unifies us as a people, that a shared common experience that we all have. Now,
You got any Slovenian supermodels?
We have a Hungarian. We have people that fled communism in Eastern Europe. We have people that came from Mexico. We have people from Vietnam. So there's many different stories of immigration. And what we came to understand, what is really inspiring, is that we are all descended from a DNA that's pretty extraordinary. If you consider it, we are descended from people that said no. No, I will not tolerate famine. I will not tolerate religious oppression. I will not tolerate communism. I will not tolerate fascism. And they took the chance to leave. They risked their life to leave. Oftentimes, arduous journeys across land. Survived that. A lot didn't survive. A lot didn't choose to leave. That's not our DNA. And then to survive the journey over the ocean, and then to land with nothing and somehow create a life.
Yeah.
That's a pretty extraordinary story. That's a mythic story. That's a hero's journey.
Yeah. It makes me emotional. You know, I live in Miami. I'm surrounded by people, including my parents, including my family, who fled communism. I'm surrounded by Cuban Americans, by Venezuelan Americans, by Nicaraguans like me, who are exactly those people that you're talking about, and it is those people that make America great today.
Yes,
absolutely. And in a time of such divisiveness, shouldn't we be looking for things that unite us, a story that unites us? This is something we all share. Doesn't matter whether it was last week or in the 17th century. We all have come from somewhere else, and we all are descended from heroic people. If you're not indigenous or African American.
All right, on another subject.
And the African-American story is an entirely different one. And we tell the story in The New Colossus of the northern migration, the people that left the South to seek safety in the North, to get out of this newly established environment that was allowing the Ku Klux Klan, the rise of the Ku Klux Klan. And so it is the story of people that had great dignity, that said no and survived. And we have, after the show, we talk to the audience about it. And it's so inspiring because we hear amazing stories. I'll share a couple of them with you.
Okay.
One woman says...
You don't have a lot of time.
Okay, I'll talk fast. One woman says, 8 years old, her grandmother, when she came to the country, alone on a boat, with a photograph. That's all. No address. A photograph of a relative.
From where?
From Europe. And so she lands in New York Harbor, 8 years old, somehow finds her family. That woman sitting in my audience, because that 8-year-old had the guts, the tenacity, the will to survive.
So many stories of the Holocaust like that, of kids being sent to different countries without their parents, without any kind of
Woman tells me, I want to tell you a story about a soldier.
We have to come back. You have to come back because they're wrapping me.
Because so we have another
guest.
And that story is happening now at the border.
At the Night Theater in Charlotte.
Yes, our thanks to Tim Robbins. His play, The New Colossus, is currently on a national tour through April. Please go see it. For cities and dates, check out our website.